Yeah, really big win in terms of, so many St. Louis students here to watch. And we talked as a team before the game that some of those kids, this may be the only college game they get to go to in their young life. And let's make an impression on them. I thought these guys led really well. I thought our team responded at a halftime. Unbelievable for performance by Brooke to get a triple-double and to come out of halftime. We wanted more from her out of halftime, and she responded and delivered. First one in program history to break NCAA block record. The message is when you do things as a team, individual accomplishments follow that. And I thought our team, did some really tough things on the rebounding, held them in scoring. Yeah, and Mia Nicastro came out of halftime with 3 immediate rebounds, and we were all over the team about what we needed to do in response to some of their physicality. So just good response by our women.
And you look at this matchup on paper coming in, George Mason, a really physical team, wants to own the paint. That's a big part of St. Louis's MO as well. So how did you see that kind of play out, that physicality and toughness style of basketball?
Yeah, I think in the first half, their physicality was, pushing us a little bit to maybe not make the decision we wanted to make, or we're missing shots we usually miss. We felt like our team needed to offensive rebound better in the second half than we did in the first half. I mean, we're known for that, and we only had 4 at halftime, and I see our team responded really well and had 17 in the game. So I think their physicality definitely impacted us early, but I think our leadership responded to that and said it's not going to impact us the entire game.
Team defense was outstanding in this one. Hold your opponents to under 25% from the floor. What can you say about that?
Yeah, that's exciting. Our team wants to get better in this space as quickly as possible. We had to do a couple different things. Obviously we had to hide her as best we could with 4 fouls already at halftime. And what a brilliant job she did playing with 4 fouls and being really, really smart. And yeah, I just thought, we're so pumped about anything defensive. We show every single stop we ever get to our team because we want to keep getting more. So really good response.
Kennedy Calhoun dealt with a lot of foul trouble in this game as well. And when you have 2 of your main ball handlers dealing with that kind of foul trouble, how much of it was you had to keep them out on the floor, and how much of it was you just truly trust them to play in that kind of situation?
Great question, Colin. I think it's both. I think we needed their ball handling, especially because they were full court pressure and putting a little bit more on us, and we have Camry, out for a little bit. So we needed them to be on the floor because of the game plan of Mason, but we also trust both of them. They've both played with large amounts of fouls before. I don't know how often Julia's had to play with 4 for an entire half and do it that effectively in her career. I'll ask her when we go back. But she was brilliant with playing that way, and we needed her.
Can you speak to Kyla's game today?
Yeah, I thought Kyla made some really smart decisions. There was one play call in particular that we made near the end of the game, and we called for a particular option. She made eye contact with me, and she's like, okay. And then she saw a better option develop, which is something that, I think only coaches know about her, right? We call the play, and sometimes we call it for her, and she gives it to someone else. On this one, she ended up running it, getting something great for herself, but it was a read that only she saw in the game. I didn't see it. None of the staff saw it. She saw it and made a huge play. So I think her consistency to be able to make big plays when our team needs that burst of momentum was really important today.
Can you speak to the energy that those 9,000 kids brought? It was loud and there wasn't it.
It was, and the students were great. We were really, sometimes at these education games, they're not sure which team to cheer for, and we really wanted them to be sure to cheer for St. Louis. I thought the students did a great job representing St. Louis and cheering loud for us. Their energy was great. At the end, our women are going up and passing things out in the stand. I just remember one little guy, neon jacket on, he's got to go because their bus is leaving, and he just keeps looking back, and Kennedy Calhoun runs up there to give him something to take with him. So those are special moments for the community. Thank you to everybody that came, the teachers, the students, the administrators that allowed it, and of course Kristen on our staff who organized the event.
And provided a big home court advantage for you guys, didn't it?
It really
They
did.
knew that they were cheering for SLU.
It really did. And near the end, there were some moments, right, where the runs were happening and they were answering back to some plays we made. And when we made a great play, defense or offense, they erupted. It was special.
For Kyla, what was it like for you to play in front of all these kids that were making so much noise?
It's fun. Like, it's a good environment, and even though it's loud and it's like hard to hear, it's just you get goosebumps. Every big play, no matter who's making the play, it's to hear that crowd erupt is goosebumps. So that really creates a lot of energy because you're like, okay, let's keep making these big plays because I really like the sound of that crowd. So I thought we really were trying to put on a show for the people.
And I brought this up with Coach Tillett right after the game, but in a game like this where scoring's at a premium, it's just hard to come up with points. How much do you put it on your shoulders that, hey, I'm that player that can do that for us?
Oh, a lot. A lot. I'll try to work on not putting too much stress on me, and my teammates do a really good job of setting it up to where, okay, we need a bucket. Let's figure out how to score. And Ken does, something that not many people know. She comes up and says, all right, what do you want? Like, what is it? And that's just something, great point guards, they know who to get it to, what to do, and they'll ask for help when they need it. So,
do you feel like this team has hit another level of togetherness over these last couple of wins here at home?
oh, for sure, especially with all the obstacles that we're going through. Players out, we're down point guards, foul trouble keeps happening, stuff like that. It really makes you have to fight and keep pushing together. And it's just, reminds me of TMC where you're going through something hard and you end up getting closer and closer together after.
Then for Brooke, with your triple-double, the first ever in Billikens history, and you do it with blocks, 11 blocks in this game. Just talk to us how special this was to do this in your hometown, in front of all these kids, somewhere where you said you had been before to take in a game in this kind of atmosphere. How special was this all for you?
It was a really special, just kind of one of those like full circle moments that you probably won't ever forget. As I said earlier, like I've been to an education game on the other side of it in the stands watching. So, just to have that happen today, it just felt really special. I think also the belief of like my coaching staff and my teammates in me, because if I'm being honest, like going into halftime, I was like, okay, my offense really isn't there, but I'll just focus on what I can provide defensively. But my coaches and my teammates were challenging me, like, don't stop shooting the ball, keep shooting the ball. So for them to have that belief in me, honestly, those 10 points or 11 points that I scored are because of them, because they kept motivating me to keep going. Because I was like, I don't think I'm going to score this game. And I was fine with that. Like, I was just going to play defense. But, yeah, so.
And we talked about it already, but the huge team defensive performance, what do you think that this team can do in the future to hold more opponents down like you did George Mason?
I think that as we get better, on offense and on defense, we learn more about ourselves and we learn more about what we're capable of doing. And I think that since we've seen, like, what we can do this game, we're going to continue to, like, carry that over and know that we have that potential in games in the future. So, yeah, I think it'll be a positive outcome, and I think that, we'll just continue to hold ourselves accountable because we've kind of set a new standard for our team in a defensive aspect.
And Kyla alluded to this a little bit. Lots of adversity mixed in throughout the season. Now you've had some success with this 2-game winning streak, taking it to the road. As a senior leader on this team, how do you have this team kind of handle that success in the right way?
I think the biggest thing is just to continue approaching everything how we were, even when things weren't going the best. Like we were continuing to work towards the outcome that we wanted. And now that we've gotten the outcome and had the 2 wins, that doesn't mean that we stop working. There's still work to do. There's still ways that we can improve our game. There's still film to watch and mistakes to correct. So we just have to continue to be diligent.
And Brooke, I know your career is still going, but you are in the careers list at the top of it, near the top of it in so many different categories. Again, here in your hometown, what does that mean to you to be in St. Louis history in that way?
I just think it's very humbling. I really didn't think I was going to be able to play college basketball. So just to be here and have the opportunity to, play college basketball in my hometown and just all the things that I feel like I've been blessed with, it's just a really humbling experience. So very appreciative.
Is it hard to focus when those kids are screaming like that?
I honestly think that it was, like, helpful. I feel like it's hard to, like, focus and communicate, but also, like, sometimes you can get, like, really down on yourself when things are happening in the game, and then you look into the stands, you see these kids, and they're, like, having the time of their life, So it's just kind of like a bigger than basketball moment almost. So it was good to, like, have as, like, a reset, but I also think it can make it a little difficult to, like, communicate with your teammates and kind of hear what's going on.